Hello, everyone. Welcome back to episode I can't remember of the Josh and Anna podcast. This is December 31st.
New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve. I can't even talk right now. I was just reading in Consumer Reports that a lot of the dark chocolates that you and I know and love and enjoy frequently have very high amounts of heavy metals. Lead, cadmium, bad, dangerous substances. And they're in the chocolates we currently have in our pantry.
Listen, I am so tired of life because we try to do so good. You know, we try to take the things that are harmful and substitute them by better things. So I made dark chocolate, very dark chocolate, my treat. And I didn't even like very dark chocolate, but I learned to like it. So we ate like 78% dark chocolate now. But that confirms my theory on the first episode of our podcast that I said that everything out there is, you know, out to kill you. But
everything's trying to kill you. That's her favorite quote.
Yeah, some things just kill you slower than other things. But
for those of you watching the video and not listening to the podcast without video, I'm showing the article from Consumer Report. Lead and cadmium could be in your dark chocolate. So essentially, Consumer Report did a third-party scientific lab analysis on several popular brands from Trader Joe's to Ghirardelli to Linden, etc. And I know, I'm upset too because one of our favorite chocolates, the one we currently have in our pantry that we eat almost every night, a small square of, is the Linden 70% coca. I think we even have one that's like 78%.
Yeah, that's my favorite, 78%.
Turns out it's 116% higher than the baseline in cadmium, which means if you eat exorbitant amounts of this frequently, you're going to get cadmium poisoning. Yeah. And according to the NIH, cadmium poisoning can lead to a whole list of issues from peripheral nervous, cardiovascular, urinary, reproductive, skeletal. The list goes on. That is all from cadmium poisoning. That's horrible. That's horrible. And like so many people, I think, would switch from milk chocolate or something else to dark chocolate to try to be a little healthier because it's lower in sugar. It supposedly has better antioxidants.
It's fermented.
I didn't even know that. That's awesome. So you're trying to make a better health decision, and little do you know, you could actually be poisoning yourself. And of course, Linden is going to tell you, and they don't have any financial or economic incentive to test their own products like that because if they ever find anything, what do? Source their cocoa beans from someplace more expensive and take a cut in their margins? No, of course you're not going to do that.
Is that even possible, you think?
I don't know, because if it comes from the soil and the plants are getting these heavy metals leaching out of the soil into the bean itself, it goes to reason that there could be some soils that are less contaminated than others.
Right, but are those soils in places where cocoa bean grow?
I don't know, and that's a very good question. Right now, it was funny, not funny, but like interesting that 2 weeks after Consumer Report published this, Hershey got sued by a class action lawsuit. Let me show you here. This is NPR, and this just came out yesterday. Hershey faces a lawsuit over heavy metals in its dark chocolate bars. Because they were on the list.
This is the thing, people. This is a thing.
This is what happens.
I don't even like Hershey's. I mean, I didn't even know they did dark chocolate because their milk chocolate tastes like...
Yeah, I didn't either. I thought they just made the Hershey bar and maybe some other things. But it turns out they did. And they're getting sued. The lawsuit is seeking $5 million from Hershey's, calling it advertising and marketing campaign for the dark chocolate bars false, deceptive, and misleading. The plaintiff's lawyer argued that if Hershey had disclosed it, people wouldn't have bought it. And that's true. Can you imagine if the label said, warning, has toxic heavy metals inside of it?
But are they like a lot higher than those other ones that we just looked at? Do we know that?
Let me look. Okay, let's see what the bars from Hershey. Here we go. Holy cow. Wow. They're one of the worst.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Hershey's Special Dark, mildly sweet chocolate, has 265% above the baseline for lead.
Wow.
So cadmium is at 30%. It's pretty low. I still would love it to be zero. How great would it be if it was 0% cadmium? But lead, I mean, there is a lot of lead in here.
Yeah.
And we just read the Mayo Clinic symptoms list for lead. It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible. So what do you do? Right? You do the best you can to get educated. You wonder, okay, so what if you're like us and we've been eating these things regularly.
Yeah.
The chances of us, if we got our blood tested, or I don't know how they screen that, but let's say it's a blood test. If we got a blood test and they found heavy metals like lead and cadmium in our blood at dangerous levels, which I don't know what they determine the threshold for dangerous versus safe.
Yeah.
I would imagine all of it's dangerous, but it's just shades of gray.
I prefer to have none.
I would love to have none. It turns out that you can excrete these heavy metals in various ways, meaning your waste products, like your urine, and also your sweat.
Yes.
And I just saw one of my favorite doctors, Dr. Rhonda Patrick, made a tweet the other day showing that sauna may help excrete heavy metals. Lead is excreted 14 times more in sweat, and cadmium is excreted 11 times more in sweat than urine.
Wow.
So if you go into a sauna, the average sauna session at like 180 degrees Fahrenheit, 170, and you have, I think, 15 to 20 minutes inside of a sauna, they say the average male adult will sweat about 0.5 kilograms of sweat.
That's a lot of sweat.
It's like a pound of sweat. That's a lot of sweat. And so basically what she's trying to make the argument for is that, yes, you have these issues like, and she brought up Consumer Report analysis finding high levels. So yeah, you have these issues with heavy metals being in our foods, but one thing we can do to counteract that, other than just avoiding these things we know are bad, is to go to the sauna regularly.
Yes, which we do.
We try to do. We definitely try to do. It coincides with us going to the gym, which sometimes we avoid, so we probably don't go to the sauna as much as we'd like. But
listen, you suggested going to the gym today. He had the audacity of telling me, let's go to the gym on a Saturday afternoon on New Year's Eve. And I said I was only going to go if I could go directly to the sauna. Right. Because the sauna is kind of nice. You know, it's like a warm hug.
It's super nice. It's super nice. And you know what's interesting? I started looking up, and the sauna benefits are so vast. It's not just being able to sweat out heavy metals and other toxins.
Yeah.
Some of the benefits they're talking about today in 2022
for sauna
is better physical fitness and endurance, lower risk of dementia and Alzheimer's, which I think is amazing, extend life and health span, which that was never a claim 10, 20 years ago, cellular repair, lowers chronic inflammation, better immunity, lower risk of infection, excretion of heavy metals via sweat, which we just talked about, improved mental health and less depression, which they've known about for years, lowers cholesterol and hypertension risk, which they've known for 10 years, and better mood response to endorphins. So this is actually pretty amazing when you're looking at all of these together.
Right.
But one thing I'm discovering is that these different mechanisms in the body, whether it's your brain health, your cardiovascular system, your immune system, a lot of these things tend to be connected. So when one of these areas suffer, the other areas can suffer as well.
Yeah, I mean, you're not a heart and lungs and eyes, and you're a body.
Right.
You know, everything is connected, and the body's very efficient. It uses and reuses things, and it does multiple things at once. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
That one thing will harm multiple areas of your body, and something might help multiple areas of your body.
Exactly, which motivates me to look into the benefits of these things, because if I'm able to strengthen my cardiovascular system, it seems to have the ancillary benefits of strengthening your immune system as well. So right here in JAMA Internal Medicine, this was coming out of the Swedish studies. Dr. Rhonda Patrick runs through this with her podcast she just released. She did a deep dive into these studies and the sauna benefits. Let me share this on the screen real quick for people watching the video. This is just a screenshot from the video itself. But basically, this speaks to the dose-dependent results, where if you go 2 to 3 times per week, you get a 22% reduction in all-cause mortality and cardiovascular issues. And 4 to 7 times per week, that jumps all the way to 63% reduction.
That's a lot.
That's huge. That's absolutely massive. And so it's great to go the amount of times that we're going, which is about 2 to 3.
Yeah.
If we were able to up that from 4 to 6, you're seeing a 3x improvement.
Yeah, that's impressive.
And maybe we can continue eating that chocolate because we're excreting out all this stuff from our...
I'm eating while I'm in the sauna.
While I'm in the sauna.
I'll take it with me.
Heavy metals in, heavy metals out. You know, but again, we're probably going to get those chocolates out of our out of our pantry and not buy them again, because I still do not know the rate at which these heavy metals are entering my body.
Yeah.
And I don't know the rate at which they're leaving. All I know is sweating seems to get them out very efficiently, at least more efficiently than urine, but it's not good to have them in the first place.
Right. I mean, it's very exhausting to try to live longer.
It is.
This is what I've been learning all of these months doing research about health. This is what I've been learning. It's very exhausting to try to live longer.
Being healthy is exhausting, but in my opinion, it's worth it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're very young, and every time we get slightly sick, we go like, oh, this sucks. This sucks more than anything. Imagine being chronically sick.
I can't
chronically
imagine.
ill and dependent on drugs that help you, but they're more, it's a trade-off. They're not actually solving the problem. They're bringing you so much bad things with it, but you have to take them, otherwise you die, or you can't handle whatever it is that you're facing. So it is worth it. I
it
agree
is
with you.
And there's no cure-all. Like if you have that genetic predisposition and you have an issue and you get cancer, for example, it wasn't like you got cancer from that chocolate you ate or from not exercising. Right. Some people just have this issue, or genetic conditions, and all these different issues. So I think there's like a certain amount where there's in life you don't have control.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much in life that you don't have control. I mean, you have stories of people that smoke their entire lives and never have lung problems or anything like
80
that.
80 years old and they're still smoking a pack a day.
And people that never smoked in their entire life and have lung cancer and they die from it. And you're just like, that's just what life is. Sometimes, it's not luck. Sometimes you try really hard and it pays off. And sometimes that was just, I believe in it. I believe, and we have different opinions on this, but I believe that we cannot extend our lives at all. I believe that you can choose the quality of life that you live, but I believe that our time is our time. Yeah.
Okay.
I can't extend my life, but I can make my life better.
I tend to be, and I appreciate that opinion, I tend to be more on the other side of the camp.
I know.
Being an optimist in that I'm not saying you can infinitely expand one's life, but I believe it's possible to expand the number of years given lifestyle choices. And I think one day that the scientific community will reach a point where you'll be able to extend it quite a bit further. I'm not talking thousands, but I think the average person making the average salary could live to be 150, 200 if they wanted to. So I think that they'll get there.
Yeah, you're way more optimistic than I am. I do not have that hope at all.
If you guys are interested in understanding where I might be coming from, I would encourage you to look up David Sinclair, Dr. David Sinclair, and some of his research. All he does is he's on the cutting edge looking at health and longevity,
right,
and trying to push the body to its limits, discover what is aging, what's the actual mechanism, and then what science can do, what medicine can do to try to slow it down and also reverse it entirely. Right. That's what he's doing. It's kind of the holy grail of medicine.
Yeah.
But it's, in some people's opinions, a pipe dream.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, he does not look his age at all. No. He looks a lot younger. He's like on his 50s.
Yeah, he looks like he's
like his 30s.
Late 30s, early 40s.
Yep.
So that speaks to it. But he takes quite a bit of supplements that we don't have access to as people without a PhD who can write these things. But anyway, that wraps up the podcast. Thank you guys for watching. Leave any comments down below. Tell us what you think about saunas, or if you're interested in doing that. Let us know if there's any other topics you'd be interested in us covering, and we'll try to fit that in with the next episode.
Yeah, 2023 is going to be the next episode.
New year, new us.
Happy New Year.
Hey. All right, that was embarrassing. I'll see you guys later. Have a good week. Have a good year. Bye.